So Carrie Champion, who is one of the most snarky and obnoxious people on TV, who is a stark defender and supporter and believer of racism. I mean, you could point to a household item and she could explain to you how that's racist. Tries to lecture Scott Jennings, and I can't blame him. After hearing all of this nonsense, he blows up on everybody. Let's take a look.
Political appointees have one qualification. They serve at the pleasure of the president because the president believes that person's going to best carry out their agenda. That is the only qualification.
And to protect and defend the Constitution.
And that is the only, that's the only qualification for a political appointee.
Doesn't matter.
Of course they're competent. Of course he believes they're competent. If he didn't believe they were competent, he wouldn't appoint them.
You're not being fair with that. You're not being fair with that response. She asked you a very simple question, yes or no. Look at the appointees. Do you believe DEI had anything to do with those appointees? Do you believe they were qualified? Do you think they would protect and defend the Constitution that represents all of the people of the United States of America?
I think Mark Rubio.
I think you all have literally no idea how the government works, is what I actually
do.
So the question that preceded that entire interaction was they asked Scott Jennings if he thought that Trump's cabinet picks were DEI picks. Because what they're trying to argue is Trump's picks aren't the most qualified for the job, which shows that they still don't get it. They are completely missing the ball. The Americans did not want another traditional pick. They didn't want another establishment swamp monster. They elected Trump to shake up the government, rid it of the corruption, rid it of the inefficiency, rebuild it from the bottom up, and make it work for the American people in a way that does not put $37 trillion of debt on our national budget. The American people gave two giant middle fingers to the establishment, the status quo, and the way things have been done. I just don't understand how the Democrats are so clueless. Americans wanted mass deportation. The Democrats are choosing to fight that. Americans wanted their government cleaned out and made inefficient and exposed for all the corruption and waste. And the Democrats are fighting and protesting that. Americans wanted men out of women's sports. And the Democrats are fighting that. Americans wanted an end to DEI and radical woke policies. And as they're exposing on this panel, they're tripling down on that. Democrat favorability is already at an all-time low, and it certainly has not hit the floor yet. You gotta think, they're so down bad that the only argument they can really make in the news right now is something to do with eggs. Because Donald Trump has essentially fulfilled every campaign promise within the first 2 weeks. It's just pure despair and desperation that they're trying to make themselves feel happy and satisfied and right that Donald Trump hasn't completed a term's worth of stuff in the first 3 weeks.